Hey everyone, and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm back with another update coming out from the war between Russia and Ukraine, and I've got a ton of huge news to brief you all on today. Today's date is July 29th, 2025, and it's Tuesday. Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and I hope you're all having a great day today. Lots of news to cover in this update. Let's start out with a news story out of Russia's Rostov Oblast. Once again, numerous times over the last week, we've had reports of Russian railway stations under attack, and that's exactly what happened again last night. Let's start out with this report here on your screen. Russian railway station ablaze after Ukrainian drone strikes in Rostov Oblast. Ukraine's military reportedly launched a large-scale drone attack on Russia's Rostov Oblast overnight on July 29th, striking a railway station in the town of Salsk, local officials reported. Okay, so you can see here in the video footage a massive fire. We have numerous targets that the Ukrainian drones were going after. We have reports of a Russian train carrying fuel that was struck and blown up, an electrical substation that was damaged near the city of Salsk as well. And we even have a Russian army resource base that was attacked and blown up also by Ukrainian drones. So massive story out of Russia's Rostov Oblast. This is going to be just a little bit to the east of Ukraine, inside of Russian territory. I'll have a map for you guys here in just a little bit to kind of show you where these attacks took place at. We also have reports today that Ukrainian drone attacks took place in occupied Donetsk Oblast in eastern Ukraine overnight, just over the border from Russia's Rostov Oblast that you see here. And we have more logistics allegedly being attacked in that area. I've got video footage out from the Donetsk Oblast overnight. And inside of central Ukraine, the city of Kamyanske in the Dnipropetrovsk Oblast near central Ukraine, we had a maternity ward that was hit. Unfortunately, some people losing their lives and being injured. Numerous maternity wards we've been reporting over the past couple months that have been attacked by the Russians. And also in the city of Zaporizhia, down in southern Ukraine, we have a correctional facility that was bombed by the Russians as well, and dozens of people were killed in that attack. Very unfortunate situation, but we're going to go over that today. Lots of news to cover. Let's go ahead and get right into this. We're going to jump on over here to X with Max25. I've got some videos I can show you guys with a little bit of information. Then we'll jump on over to a map, and I'll show you exactly where some of these strikes were taking place at. So we have this update here from Max25. Salsk, one of the arrivals at the railway station. Here's a 9-second video. Check this out. Alright, so here's a video overnight out of the Rostov Oblast in the city of Salsk with a massive hit from Ukrainian drone. Look at the size of that explosion there. And I'm not sure exactly what was hit, but you can definitely see some sort of what looks like maybe an electrical explosion soon after, some sort of secondary detonation. There's like a flash of light there. Could have been maybe some power lines that got taken down as well, because some of the officials in the area inside of Russia were claiming that there was like power outages and whatnot. So that might be what we're looking at there, but otherwise a massive hit from Ukrainian drones. Now from Visioner, Rostov Orlovsky district, a Ukrainian drone strike hit a railway station, okay? And Orlovsky is another town just a little bit north of Salsk, where a majority of these attacks were taking place. That's also where we had an electrical substation that was hit. But here's another video to share with you guys, 10 seconds. Alright, this looks to be even a bigger explosion. Almost looks like some sort of fuel was maybe detonated here. Not sure exactly what was hit in this video, but we can see a major blaze soon after. This is kind of what we see whenever like an oil depot gets hit. And some sources were talking about an oil depot being hit, but I couldn't completely confirm that. As far as we know, for sure a Russian fuel train was hit. So that could be what we're seeing there in the video also. Moving on to another one. From Max25, more footage from Salsk, Russia. More than 10 strikes, according to locals. We've got a video here to share with you as well. You're going to see multiple fires that broke out around this train station from Ukrainian drone strikes overnight.
Мост. Горят цистерны. Тут тоже что-то горит. Там вдалеке тоже что-то горит. Просто пиздец какой-то. Жопа.
We'll go ahead and pause it right there. It's a little bit longer of a video than necessary, but we can see at least two fires here. There's a major one right there near some of the tracks, and then just over to the right, we were able to see another fire that had broke out. See if we can go back a little bit. Yeah, right here, there's another fire that broke out there. Probably another drone that maybe got shot down or crashed a little bit early before it got to this train station. But look at the size of that fire there at this railway station. Now moving on to another one from Max 25, Rostov region, the consequences of a UAV strike on a train with fuel tanks. Here's video coming out from this railway station as well. We can clearly see from the video, we've got numerous tanks here that caught on fire from Ukrainian drone attacks. We got firefighters here on the scene early this morning trying to put out the blaze from this hit. And I was able to confirm there was some delays in trains trying to pass through here once again. So it looks like Ukraine is doing a really good job trying to stop a lot of these logistics from flowing from Russian territory into their country. That's again what mainly Ukraine is trying to do right now, is stop a lot of Russian equipment from getting into Ukraine. We've been seeing this a lot over the last week, so crazy video right there. All right, now from NOAA reports, Ukrainian forces also struck the Voynaya, if I'm saying that correctly, traction substation in Orlovsky, Rostov region, disabling a key element of Russia's critical railway infrastructure. All right, yes, we have another electrical substation that has been attacked. We've been seeing Ukraine doing a lot of this recently as well, especially around railway stations. And yeah, they're trying to cut off whatever access they can to these train systems to prevent them from flowing equipment into Ukraine. And I'll show you guys on a map where I believe this is located at here in just a moment. So let's hop on over here to Google Maps now. Let me show you guys where some of these attacks took place in the Rostov Oblast overnight. So we have Ukraine right here. Here's Russian territory. There's Moscow up there. So just to the east of Ukraine, we're going to talk about the Rostov Oblast, primarily the southern side of it down here. So we'll go ahead and zoom in to the city of Salsk. And here it is right here. It's kind of like a smaller settlement, but in the very center of the town, we have this major railway station right here, okay? This is what came under attack last night. Very similar to some of the other railway stations we have reported over the past week or so. And yeah, allegedly this is also where we had a fuel train that was struck and destroyed and blown up. Lots of trains being halted, passing through this area. And a lot of these trains actually come from the north or northeast. They actually come from the Volgograd Oblast, which is going to be up here. This is Volgograd right there. So a lot of these equipment from these Russian military trains travel through here. They kind of run along this highway, and we're going to move on up here to Orlovsky next, which is not too far away from Salsk. You can see right here. When we zoom into the city of Orlovsky, just to the northern side of the town over here, I think I found it right there. I believe this is the electrical substation that was hit, that directly supplies electricity to this this railway system. Okay, so you can see here's another little train station right here where these military trains travel through as they start to move equipment over to Ukraine. Okay, so there's like two major routes that the Russians use. There's one that comes from Volgograd right here where these trains travel from, and there's another one that comes from the north down to the south through Rostov-on-Don. Here's Rostov-on-Don right here. We just talked about Novocherkassk last week. That city came under attack. There's another one that runs over here, and they eventually kind of connect through Rostov. There's this one that kind of circles around to Rostov over here, this other one from the north to the south. And then eventually they travel on through Taganrog over to Mariupol, okay? And this is already inside of occupied Ukraine. Mariupol is one of the major hubs where lots of Russian military equipment comes into in the Donetsk Oblast. And yep, then eventually we start to see all this equipment be dispersed to the Russian front lines, okay? So you can see why Ukraine's trying to cut off these two key routes, okay? This one coming from Volgograd and the other one coming from the north of Rostov Oblast. So major hits overnight again here in Salsk and Orlovsky. So that way you can kind of see and get a visual reference in your head where these attacks took place at. Now let's move on to some other updates from Max 25. In addition to the railway station in the Rostov region, a nearby Russian army resource base was burning brightly after a drone attack. Yes, we have this Russian army resource base in the Rostov region also being attacked overnight in a major fire. Look at this.
Там где-то за ЖД путями горит прям хорошо.
right, so massive blaze over here. I didn't see any reports as to if anybody was injured in this strike, but as we can see, a massive blaze over the top of that house there on this Russian army resource base located in the Rostov region also. Now, military news UA, it appears that a Russian train carrying military equipment was also attacked by kamikaze drones at a railway station in Salsk overnight. So here's the photo that I actually had for you guys on the thumbnail before you came in here. It shows what looks like a Russian transport truck that was hit and destroyed. And yeah, clearly we can see this train was being used to transport Russian military equipment and directly struck and destroyed that vehicle that was stationed on top of it. Okay, some massive hits overnight. Now take a look at this from St. Javelin. Judging by recent strikes, Ukrainian forces appear to be systematically targeting a critical railway line essential for Russian military logistics, disrupting supply routes, places sustained pressure on Russia's operational capacity in the region. Okay, so this is that rail line I was just talking about. There's one that runs from Volgograd, and then we have this other one that comes from the north. These are some of the two major ones that Ukraine has been attacking recently. And ever since Sunday, which is this strike right here on July 27th, that was Sunday right here. I wasn't here that day to record it for you guys, but we had another railway station that was attacked this past Sunday, and then overnight, it was these two areas, okay? We had the city of Salsk and then the Orlovsky electrical substation right there. You can see in the photo that was hit. So you can see Ukraine's really trying to damage these critical arteries of supply lines for the Russians that are trying to transport equipment into Ukraine and also into Crimea as well. Now, war translated. Overnight, Russian-occupied Donetsk was attacked by drones, according to local Telegram channels. Part of the city was left without power. So now let's talk about occupied Ukraine in the Donetsk region, just over the border from the Rostov Oblast. Excuse me. We have reports of explosions over here, and allegedly Ukraine was going after more Russian logistics. Here's a video, and I do apologize. There is a little bit of profanity here, but it will be in Russian.
Дрон ебашит. Я не знаю, где. Пизда. Пизда. Пизда.
Вот петух, блядь. Ах ты петух.
Дрон ебашит. Я не знаю.
All right, so as we can see from the video footage, lots of explosions, gunfire, and drones just blowing up everywhere inside of occupied Donetsk region of Ukraine. And I'm not sure exactly what was hit. We haven't had any confirmation of anything critical that was destroyed or anything like that. But, you know, we do know for sure that the Russians are heavily trying to push inside of the Donetsk Oblast. It's an area that Ukraine has been really trying to hold on to for a long time, and so far have been doing a very good job. So most likely just trying to cut off more logistics and slow the Russians down on their advancement in eastern Ukraine. Now, from Visioner, dozens of Ukrainian drones are currently striking the occupied parts of Donetsk. The main attacks are targeting logistics. Here's another video, 9 seconds. So just a quick video here, what sounds like some massive explosions. These might not even be drones. It's very possible this could be HIMARS. We do see a lot of HIMARS rockets being fired into the Donetsk Oblast. So very possible what we're looking at there is rocket attacks from Ukraine, but otherwise some massive hits over here. Here's a picture coming out also from NOAA reports. Explosions in occupied Donetsk. A fire can be seen from far away. Okay, so like a massive fire broke out in the Donetsk Oblast, again, in occupied territory by the Russians in southeastern Ukraine, I guess we should say. And yeah, massive hit over here, according to that photo. Now let's talk about strikes inside of Ukraine. So from Bliskovka, last night, Russians launched a missile attack on the town of Kamyanske. There are dead and wounded, reports the Dnipropetrovsk Regional Military Administration. The strike partially destroyed a 3-story building that was not in use. In addition, medical facilities nearby were damaged, a maternity ward and a department of the city hospital. 2 people were killed, 5 more people were wounded. 2 women are in serious condition. One of the women is pregnant. 3 patients are in moderate condition, said the head of the regional military administration. So yeah, massive attacks over here. Missile attacks that were actually taking place in the city of Kamyanske. And we just talked about this city just the other day. Here's somebody that was injured right here as well, probably rescued from their home. Cars being destroyed and blown up in these missile attacks overnight from the Russians. Lots of homes being damaged. And again, unfortunately, 2 people killed, 5 more wounded in some of these attacks. And yet again, another maternity ward that has been targeted. And I don't know why the Russians do that so much, but they are targeting a lot of maternity wards. Nursing homes many times are some of the top targets that the Russians go after. And they clearly just want to destroy Ukraine and harm civilians, what we're seeing. Now, Anton Gerashenko, maternity home in Kamyanske, Dnipropetrovsk region. Russian ballistic attack on the city killed 3 people today. Here's a video as well showing damages to this maternity hospital. All right, so an absolutely brutal attack here once again in the Dnipropetrovsk Oblast, and the city of Kamyanske is just literally right next to Dnipro. It's not too far away, and Dnipro is another major city in the Dnipropetrovsk Oblast that gets attacked a lot, especially with missiles. It's almost every week we report missiles going into this area. So very sad to report this maternity hospital that has been attacked today. Now, war translated. Last night, Russian forces struck the Belinke Correctional colony in Zaporizhzhia with 4 guided aerial bombs. The attack killed 17 inmates and injured 42 more. The dining hall was completely destroyed, and the administrative building and quarantine units were heavily damaged. Yeah, we had this penal colony that was attacked, okay? Correctional facility. People that are literally just inside of prison or jail here, right? And hit by guided aerial bombs numerous times, okay? Up to 4 of these guided aerial bombs struck this facility. 17 inmates that lost their lives and 42 more being injured. I mean, can you believe that? What is the point of striking a correctional facility? I don't see any reason the Russians would do this other than to, again, terrorize the people of Ukraine. They're just trying to destroy every bit of infrastructure that Ukraine uses. And this is something we are reporting literally every day. And very sad to report so many people losing their lives there. Now from next to an unidentified drone crash in Minsk near a kindergarten. No casualties reported, according to Belarusian Ministry of Defense. Okay, this is a very interesting story. Just yesterday, I reported to you guys we had a Russian drone allegedly coming from Belarus crossing into Lithuania, which is NATO territory. And it was very interesting because NATO stayed very quiet about that. Yesterday, we still don't even know where that drone ended up at, if it crashed in Lithuania or where it ended up. But now inside of Belarus, we have some sort of drone that crashed over here as well. I don't know if this was Russian origin or what this was, but allegedly some sort of drone crashing in the capital of Minsk in Belarus just overnight. And this was pictures coming out showing this thing. You can see the engine right there and the propeller on the back of it. Not sure what that is. That might be from a car, or it could be parts of the drone after it fragmented. It's really hard to tell. Now from Slava, it can reach speeds of up to 400 kilometers per hour, and it's not a sports car, but the world's fastest drone made on a 3D printer. The German engineer's invention has a flight range of up to 35 kilometers and can stay in the air for about 20 to 21 minutes. Yeah, I wanted to show you guys this real quick. So this is coming out of Germany. Some sort of German engineer invented this new drone interceptor, and or at least could be potentially used as a drone interceptor. And we'll see if maybe Ukraine gets their hands on these. These things can go up to 400 kilometers per hour, which is pretty fast, and be utilized to shoot down a Russian drone. So take a look at this. Just want to show you how these work. We've been talking a lot about these drone interceptors. right, so pretty cool to see the speed and agility of these interceptor drones. And yeah, that'd be great if Ukraine can get their hands on these and utilize them to shoot down incoming Shahed drones, especially after reports we had yesterday that allegedly the Russians are going to start using rocket drones. They're going to be upgrading a lot of their drones and moving away from propeller based systems or engines and moving towards jet powered drones, which is going to make them more deadly and harder to intercept. So I'm assuming that this would probably help a lot better at maybe taking down those kind of drones as well. But regardless, very cool invention here coming out from Germany today. We'll see if Ukraine ends up receiving some of those at some point. Now from next to Aeroflot loses millions after cyber attack. Russia's flagship airline suffered massive losses due to a large-scale hacker attack. In just 24 hours, Aeroflot lost at least 250 million rubles, or $2.7 million, as it was forced to cancel or delay 42% of its flights. Over 20,000 passengers were affected. The total damage is estimated at $10 to $50 million. According to Forbes, Russia's transport ministry warned that it could take up to 2 months to partially restore the airline's IT systems and around a year to fully recover from the cyber attack. So we talked about this yesterday. This is some of the details coming out today regarding how badly affected Aeroflot was due to this cyber attack, as a pro-Ukrainian hacker group along with a Belarusian partisan group majorly cyber attacked this company of Aeroflot, which was one of the largest, if not the largest, airline inside of Russia, and it caused massive delays, huge losses in monetary value as well. So just kind of showing the effects of this. Lots of flights being canceled today. I have another report here also. Max 25, Aeroflot on Tuesday canceled 53 flights to and from Moscow's Sheremetyevo airport after a cyber attack on the company's IT infrastructure. The day before, 59 round-trip flights were canceled for the same reason. Regional routes, however, continue to operate as usual. All right, so look at the amount of flights here being canceled. Yesterday, 59 round-trip flights canceled. Today, we have another 53 flights to and from Moscow's major airport of Sheremetyevo after the cyber attack. So that's crazy, guys. Lots of disruptions happening within this major airline company inside of Russia. And yeah, it's definitely going to be causing lots of economic loss for Russia's economy as well. This was a very big deal what happened yesterday that we reported to you guys. So there's some extra details today. Now for Military News UA, Russian media reports that hackers have attacked 2 Russian pharmacy chains, Stolichka and Neopharm, and the Moscow clinic chain Family Doctor. Stolichka alone has over 1,000 pharmacies, mostly located in Moscow and the Moscow region. Neither online ordering nor in-store checkouts are working. Pharmacy outlets have closed indefinitely. Here's video coming out today showing some of these pharmacy chains that were shut down after yet again another major cyber attack. We've been seeing so many cyber attacks recently. I have another report today, which again is not going to be inside of Russia. It's actually going to be out of France today, but there's some video footage showing some of these clinics that have been shut down, and Russia just massively getting attacked by all types of cyber warfare recently. Here's that report out of France now from Nexta. France subjected to the largest cyber attack in its history on the defense sector. Codes of combat systems and software for nuclear weapons compromised. The Financial Times reports that the French defense company Naval Group, which produces submarines and military ships, was targeted by hackers. The hackers gained access to sensitive data, including software for nuclear weapons on submarines, documentation on Rafale M fighter jets, internal emails from management, and network data. Authorities in the U.S. and France have launched an investigation and are verifying the authenticity of the leaked data. So that's not good news, guys. Once again, more reports of nuclear weapons agencies being attacked and cyber attacked. We just had that huge report that allegedly Chinese hackers or related to the state of China that hacked into a major Microsoft program, and they were able to access some files from major agencies out of the U.S. that manage the nuclear weapons program also for the United States military. So this is very dangerous. We're seeing a lot of major cyber attacks just all over the world right now. And yeah, hopefully this doesn't lead to something big, but we're seeing a lot of this recently, even for their Rafale M fighter jets, which are very advanced jets that that France is using right now. So if we get more information on this story, I'll probably do another update later. But yeah, France hit with a major cyber attack today. Now I want to show you this from ViceGrad24. Medvedev and Senator Graham clash in comments. Okay, so we're going to show you this picture here in just a second, but I want to show you this post that came out yesterday. This was Dmitry Medvedev, the deputy head of the National Security Council out of Russia. And he says Trump's playing the ultimatum game with Russia, 50 days or 10. He should remember two things. Number one, Russia isn't Israel or even Iran. Number two, each new ultimatum is a threat and a step towards war, not between Russia and Ukraine, but with his own country. Don't go down the Sleepy Joe road. Okay, so yeah, this was Medvedev responding to Trump yesterday when Trump came out and said, well, we're going to move the deadline down to 10 to 12 days for Russia to end this war in Ukraine. If you guys remember that report I showed you yesterday. Yeah, we're talking, by the end of like next week that Russia should be ending this war. If not, they're going to get hit with secondary tariffs onto nations that purchase Russian oil. Yeah, we have Dmitry Medvedev coming out soon after that yesterday and threatening war with the United States. Can you believe that? And then also, Lindsey Graham was actually responding to Dmitry Medvedev's statement towards Trump, and this is what he said. To those in Russia who believe that President Trump is not serious about ending the bloodbath between Russia and Ukraine, you and your customers will soon be sadly mistaken. You will also soon see that Joe Biden is no longer president. Get to the peace table. So basically threatening Medvedev that Trump is serious about this. He will hit, Russia's trading partners like China, Brazil, India with these tariffs, which will force them to no longer purchase Russian oil or face 100% tariffs, which will most likely force them to no longer be buying that oil, right? So yeah, just kind of responding to Dmitry Medvedev. And then we've got Medvedev coming out responding to Lindsey Graham's post. And he said, it's not for you or Trump to dictate when to get to the peace table. Negotiations will end when all the objectives of our military operation have been achieved. Work on America first, Gramps. Yeah, so he actually was being very rude and calling Lindsey Graham grandpa and telling him to focus on America and stop worrying about what Russia's doing inside of Ukraine. But we know that right now, Trump doesn't appear to be messing around. I think he's very serious at trying to end this war, and we're going to see a major push in the next week. And hopefully it doesn't lead to major escalation with Russia and the United States and maybe even NATO. Who knows what's going to happen there. But Dmitry Medvedev coming out with some fiery statements responding to Trump and also Senator Lindsey Graham. Now from St. Javelin. Russia will continue its special military operation despite Trump's statements, said Peskov. He claimed it's necessary to protect Russia's national interests. So kind of Peskov coming out today, that's Dmitry Peskov, the Kremlin spokesman, pretty much reiterating the same claim coming out from Dmitry Medvedev, stating that they're going to continue the special military operation that they call, which is actually a war inside of Ukraine, that they will continue it until they achieve all their objectives and protect Russia's national interests, is what Peskov said today. Now from Vicegrad 24, Lithuania deploys additional troops to Belarus border after second Russian drone violates its airspace. The commander of the Lithuanian Armed Forces, Raimundas Vaiksnoras, if I'm saying that right, confirmed yesterday morning following the drone alert that additional troops would be deployed to the border to strengthen air defense capabilities. All right, so yeah, regarding this story that I mentioned earlier with Lithuania, we had a Russian drone allegedly that was coming from Belarus, entered into Lithuanian airspace and directly flew over their capital. And as far as I know, it wasn't shot down. We don't have all the details of where that drone ended up, but we do know that authorities were looking for it as of yesterday. But in response to that, Lithuania is deploying additional troops to the border of Belarus and also going to be strengthening air defense capabilities. So I wonder if they're going to start shooting down these drones that come into their territory. I mean, I don't know why they weren't doing this already. If this drone crosses into their border, they should shoot it down immediately before it reaches major cities like Vilnius, because what if it attacks, somebody's home and takes somebody's life? We could be seeing a major war between NATO and Russia at that point. So very dangerous situation. And Lithuania allegedly is going to be taking matters into their own hands and trying their best to secure their border in the future from these Russian drones that repeatedly target the country of Lithuania, being a NATO member. So crazy story today. Now, Vicegrad 24, 32 people suspected of spying for Russia detained in Poland. Prime Minister Donald Tusk said that a total of 32 people have been detained in the country on suspicion of collaborating with Russia's special services. Earlier, it was reported that a Colombian citizen recruited by Moscow to set fire to shopping centers has been exposed. Wow, this is crazy, guys. 32 people suspected of spying for Russia detained in Poland. Now, I don't know if these were all people being detained just today or if it was recently. I think it's more recent, over maybe the last months or something like that. But allegedly, yeah, that's what Donald Tusk, the prime minister, said today. They have detained 32 people in connection with Russia, and also a Colombian citizen that was recruited by Russia to set fire to shopping centers. And we have had Poland come out before and state that there was a shopping center that was burned down inside of, I think it was in Warsaw or some major city in Poland. I think it was just last year we had a major shopping center that burned down, or like a warehouse, and allegedly that was some sort of connection to Russia as well, from what I last reported to you guys. So this is getting very dangerous. At some point, when is NATO going to respond to all these what they call hybrid attacks and whatnot? And at some point, something's got to give, and we're going to see a major snap in something, and NATO's going to have to respond. And hopefully that never happens. But, if the Russians are carrying out all these kinds of acts of sabotage and arson, whatever it might be, at some point they're playing with fire here, and NATO's going to have to respond at some point. Now from Kiev Post, retired General Petraeus, who commanded U.S. and coalition forces in Iraq and Afghanistan, said that a ceasefire in Ukraine is unlikely until Western aid allows Kiev to dramatically shift the battlefield dynamic. So that's what this retired general believes. He commanded U.S. and coalition forces in Iraq and Afghanistan. He came out stating this just yesterday, allegedly. And he was stating that, yeah, basically there's going to be no ceasefire in this war until Ukraine is given the ability to fight back and push the Russians back to secure a ceasefire in the future. And who knows? Maybe Ukraine's going to go on the offensive. That might be why they're smashing all these railway stations. They're trying to slow Russian logistics into the country. Maybe they're preparing a major counteroffensive. And also they're going to utilize missiles to slam Russian targets inside of their own territory very soon. We've been hearing a lot about that. Germany's funding missiles for Ukraine right now. They could be firing them literally at any moment. And also the U.S. could be giving them long-range missiles as well. Who really knows? So yeah, something's big's coming here soon. I think we're going to see some major fireworks and a possible turning point in this war for Ukraine, as Ukraine may launch a massive counterattack. We'll have to see what they plan to do. Now from Liskovka, air defense forces shot down and suppressed 32 out of 37 Russian UAVs. The Russians also attacked with 2 Iskander-M ballistic missiles. There were 5 UAVs and 2 missiles hit in 3 locations, and the downed drones fell or wreckage in 2 locations. So not too many munitions going into Ukraine overnight, only 39 in total. Very low numbers compared to what we normally see, and thankfully we didn't hear of many major attacks with Russian drones overnight, so that's good to hear. That makes sense because they shot down and suppressed with electronic warfare so many of these drones overnight, but unfortunately we did have those ballistic missile attacks and guided aerial bombs being dropped in Zaporizhia overnight, like that penal colony that was attacked in the maternity ward. So otherwise, not too many munitions going into Ukraine. Now from Kiev Independent, these are the indicative estimates of Russia's combat losses as of July 29th, according to the Armed Forces of Ukraine. In our final update of the day, Russia's losses as of July 29th, 1,050 troops, 0 AFVs, 91 vehicles and fuel tanks, 4 tanks, 39 artillery systems, 192 UAVs, 1 MLRS, 1 anti-aircraft warfare system, and 2 cruise missiles. Okay, so some major hits right here. We had a anti-aircraft warfare system. I think that could have been a TOS, or TOR, excuse me, air defense system that was hit overnight. I was hearing some reports about that yesterday. Another MLRS being destroyed down here. We've been seeing that consecutively for numerous days now. 39 artillery systems, about the same. 4 tanks, 0 AFVs, not too many armored vehicles being destroyed overnight. And 91 vehicles and fuel tanks, about average what we see. Same with troop losses. So no major fluctuations, but otherwise that anti-aircraft warfare system, anytime they destroy air defense systems, that's a huge hit for Ukraine. And those things are very expensive. So I want to thank you guys so much for being here for today's update on July 29th, 2025 on Tuesday. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day today. I want to thank you very much for being here. Let me know what you think about all these details down below in the comment section. But that's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.